The Classic Cruiser Show, and backed by popular demand, Mr. Cris Detwiler. You've seen him on the cover of Time magazine. Today we are featuring his 1948 Nash Super 600.
We're back again here with our buddy Cris Detwiler, episode 2. He's going to tell us about his 48 Nash 600. Take it away.
Thanks for coming back, and nice to see you again. This is my first Nash. This one has been in the family since 1950. In 1950, my grandfather bought this car for $50, which is fantastic, and he kept it. He found it wrecked. He worked across the street. Well, the story goes, a person was driving it to work. It was a cloudy day. Rain came. As he was backing into his driveway, someone came down Main Street and hit the left front of this car. When they hit the left front, it totaled the car.
But they did have
this car is a unitized body. Unitized bodies weren't as popular back then. When the insurance company came out, they saw it, they totaled the car and let it sit in the guy's front yard. My grandfather worked across the street from it, so he saw it there, paid $50 for it, had it towed home. My grandfather had a 46, same body style, took the 46 parts, put it on the 48 and ran this car. So this was the second family car. So this was the hunting car. So I can't tell you how many times this car has been to hunting camp and come home with deer thrown over the front fenders. Unfortunately, my grandfather has passed away. We've been through the family pictures and haven't found any pictures of the car with the deer over. Up until 1999, the left front fender of this car was green because my grandfather's 46 was green, not the two-tone gray that you see today. This is Canterbury gray light and Canterbury gray dark. It is a Nash 600. It is a flathead motor. It has a 20-gallon gas tank. It gets 30 miles to the gallon, hence the name Nash 600. I do get 30 miles to the gallon around town with it, but I have to watch. I have to keep it at about 55. If I go faster than that, then the mileage drops, but it gets more than my modern cars of today. This is the flathead motor. This is 172 point, I think it's either 4 or 6 cubic inches, makes about 80 horsepower. If you look at it, the reason it gets the 30 miles to the gallon is with the exhaust being right near the carburetor, it comes up to operating temperature quicker. Most of your modern cars, or most of the cars back then, it took 10 minutes or so to warm up. This one takes a lot less. That way it got up to operating temperature, it ran more fuel efficient, so that's where you got your mileage. It does have, this one I did manage to find a 6-bladed fan in Florida. And so it has a 6-bladed fan instead of a floor to keep it cool, because we do use it in parades and things. It has a water pump towards the back of it. The exhaust pipe, there is no exhaust manifold, there is just an exhaust pipe. With this being a unitized body car, it has coil springs on all 4 corners. There's no leaf springs. So going down the road, this just floats on the road. Really nice with it. If you come around the front here, I'll show you one of my best finds that I found at Carlisle. Since the car is a 600 from 1948, I found an actual 1948 plate, Pennsylvania issued plate, that says my 600. Past week or so I read where Pennsylvania is going to start allowing us to use the year of manufacturing plate. And so I will get that registered as soon as it becomes available.
I have a dumb question.
Sure.
What does the little oil can do?
Oils things.
Okay. Such as?
You ask a question.
You squeak, you run around.
All right.
Okay.
Give us the lowdown.
The generator has a, you probably won't be able to see it, but there's a little cap where you're to put a drop of oil in there. Also on the distributor there is where you're to put a drop of oil. Now, this car was sold as a Pittsburgh car, so that means it did not have overdrive. I put overdrive on it for today's modern highways and for running. Because it was not an overdrive car, it did not have a vacuum pump. The wipers are vacuum, so every time you would go up a hill, the wipers would stop. It would be an intermittent wipe, if you want to think of it that way. So what this car has, that not many of the cars do, has an actual vacuum tank. So this stores vacuum, so when you're going up the hill and you press down on the gas pedal, the wipers will still work. That's very rare. I only know in the Nash Club, I only know of one other one. And it's sitting in the guy's barn because he had no idea where to mount it. Okay, come on around, we'll show you some more here. As I said, this car was in an accident. If you look here at the door hinge where the car was hit, you can still see the dent. That should be straight right there, where it was. The wood grain on the inside is still original. I didn't want to touch it because it was my grandfather's. This one was a little nicked up a little bit, but I did take some paint and try to touch it up a little bit with the wood grain.
Something in there in a two-door car with a seat folded.
Good story with Nash, and this is just before the war. Nash, this car is equipped with the weather eye, conditioned air. Nash was trying to get the Army contract to sell cars to the Army for their fleet vehicles. Well, what they did, they set a general down in the front seat of the car, and they went out on a test track to prove that the air circulates in the car. It takes 2 minutes for the air to circulate in here. It comes in through the cowl, out the bottom, circulates, and there's little vents back here in the window that takes the air out. They set a general down and went out on the test track. Halfway through, they lit a smoke bomb, and they threw it in the back seat so that the car would fill up with smoke. The general would see that the air was circulating and clear it out. Well, what they didn't count on was it caught the back seat on fire. When it caught the back seat on fire, they had to abort the mission, and Nash never did get the contract for military vehicles.
And the general coughed all the way back to Paris.
That I don't know, but that's what I've heard, and that's why Nash didn't get the contract.
Yeah.
For that.
Good story.
This car, like I say, being my grandfather's car since 1950, my mother did learn to drive on this car. She tells a story of sideswiping a bus, but I didn't find any. It might have been the 46 Nash, not the 48 Nash, because I didn't see any sideswipe marks on this one when I restored it. We'll go one step further.
Yeah.
We did use this in our wedding, since it's sort of family. My wife and I used it in our wedding. And if you want to zoom in, and even you can see the dented bumper and a piece of grill that's missing from the accident that I had to get straightened and fixed. So that is my second Nash. We are a Nash family. Nash, if you want to think of it that way, was the first with a third brake light, or the only brake light. You see 3 lights, 1, 2, and 3. The only brake light is this one, and it's up where people could see it. The other 2 are just for parking lights and turn signal lights, but this is a third brake light that they have.
That's the electric gas cap, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, want to see the electric gas cap? Okay. If you want to focus there.
There we go.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Ready?
1.
Oh, there we go. Let's go down there and see what's in.
Hey, anybody down there?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, now this isn't specifically for this year. This was in the 50s, probably 52, 53. This is what they call a Nash air mat. Basically designed for when you're on vacation. It is an air mat that you roll out. There's a lounger that you can crawl on, or roll on and float on. If you can see the air valve on it, there's an actual air valve. It just looks like a tire. And so you get it out. If you look on the top, there is the other end there. So you put the tube, which is the storage for it, put that in your end, and then you take this and pump it. So this way you're not out of breath when you go to get on your air mattress. So that is one of the Nash factory accessories.
Yep.
I enjoy making things. This is a Nash auto kit, auto lamp kit. For turn signals and carrying fuses and stuff like that, it's always nice to carry spare bulbs. Nash, as far as I know, never made them. So this is a can of Neverdol that I painted and took to my vintage vinyl lettering guy, and he come up with the stuff on there. 1664, that's what I have. That's my birth date that I put on there as a part number.
There we go. All right.
Let's see, what else? Here, this is a good one too. Nash made polishing covers, cloths. I saw one of these on eBay, but I didn't want to spend the money for it on eBay. So the person that was there, I emailed them and talked to them, and they gave me some sizes, and from that, my wife and I created that. Well, then at Carlisle, a few years later, we actually found a real one, and so there's a real one with something that my wife and I made.
So I think you need to go into the accessory business. For us dummies that don't know how to make this stuff.
Yeah. Fair. There we go. What do we got there?
Oh my God. How the heck did you do that now?
Well, this is done with labels, and I went to the auto parts store and bought a can that looked like an oil can. I think this is actually stuff that you're supposed to put in your antifreeze to help it lower the antifreeze to keep it cooler. And took the size and measured it. I saw one of these actually in metal that was painted that somebody, I think the Metropolitan Club did years ago. And it went for $40 or $50, and I'm not about to spend that, so just print it off on your printer and cut it down and glue it right on. Yeah, I put these in the window, like Doc Hudson.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
And then here's the mustache, too.
Yeah, no. That's
You would think of.
This is a 600, and you can tell the difference between a 600 and an Ambassador by the rear fenders, just by looking at them. An Ambassador, the rear opening opens the whole way up where you can see the tire. On the 600s, they actually have a built-in skirt. It's not a skirt, an actual fender comes down the whole way and covers half the tire. So that's an easy way to spot the difference between a 600 and an Ambassador.